Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Don't worry, this isn't like 6 PM on a Saturday night on a North American server. There's a good reason why there are 6 ships per side today. This is Tier 9 Ranked Battle. Domination mode, here on the Trident map. So, Tier 9 Ranked. This is Hammerhead in the Kitakazi, and his team in particular are full of the usual suspects when it comes to a Tier 9 ranked battle. There are some fairly predictable strong picks, such as the 2 battleships on his team, both of them Pommons. Very, very good Tier 9 battleships. Pommons are just all-round good ships. Guns are good, armour's good, speed manoeuvrability is good, secondaries are good, and they come with torpedoes. You really can't go wrong with a Pommon in Tier 9 ranked, and this team have 2 of them. As far as the cruisers are concerned, his team have, well, I don't want to say they've picked 2 battle cruisers, because you don't get to pick anything. Well, you pick the ship that you want to play, and then the matchmaker randomly assigns you to a team, but the matchmaker has randomly assigned 2 battle cruisers in the cruiser slots to Hammerhead's team here. The Kronstadt, one of the first battle cruisers introduced into the game, and the Carnot, the French 305mm gun-armed battle cruiser, one of the later battle cruisers introduced into the game. As far as the team's destroyers are concerned, obviously we have Hammerhead himself here in the Kitakazi, an excellent, some may even say slightly overpowered, Tier 9 Japanese gunboat destroyer, with the final spot on the team taken up by the USS Benham, another excellent Tier 9 destroyer, but for entirely different reasons, because the Benham focuses on torpedoes rather than guns, which is, well, a little ironic, given that most US Navy destroyers focus on guns rather than torpedoes, and most Japanese Navy destroyers focus on torpedoes rather than guns, but, well, here we are. As far as the enemy team's picks are concerned, they're a little more eclectic. They're not quite as cookie-cutter and obvious as the picks that Hammerhead's team have gone for, although they are still strong ships. You can see, as far as cruisers are concerned, they also have 1 battle cruiser over there, the Brest, but they also have a Takahashi, one of the, well, for being honest here, it has to be said, unpopular Japanese light cruiser line of ships. As far as battleships are concerned, they have a Prinz Ruprecht, another very, very good Tier 9 German battleship. Are there any bad Tier 9 German battleships? I don't think there are there? And they also have the Valparaiso, which is one of the newer premiums introduced into the game, and is essentially a sort of what-if Chilean version of HMS Vanguard. As far as the destroyers are concerned, the enemy team also have a Kitakazi, and as if by magic, there it is. But they also have a Neustrashimi, which again kind of goes against the grain as far as the accepted tropes of various different navies in the game are concerned, because the Neustrashimi is a Russian destroyer, but unlike just about every other Russian destroyer in the game that are famous for their terrible stealth and basically useless torpedoes, the Neustrashimi not only has decent torpedoes, but virtually best-in-class stealth. A Neustrashimi, properly spec'd, can actually outspot a Shimakaze. More on the Neustrashimi in a moment. For now, this is what the Kitakazi excels at: shooting things with its 100mm guns. The Kitakazi was actually considered not that good when it was first introduced into the game. Actually, this whole line of, well, I say line, we're talking about 3 Japanese gunboat destroyers here, starting at Tier 8 with the Akazuki, Tier 9 here with the Kitakazi, and Tier 10 with the Harugamo. All of them armed with lots and lots and lots of rapid-firing 100mm guns, housed in extremely rapid-turning twin-gun turrets. Hammerhead very wisely evacuating his smoke screen there. Yep, there they are, enemy torpedoes. He knows that the enemy Kitakazi's torpedoes are ready to go because his torpedoes are ready to go, and he doesn't have hydro. Kitakazi doesn't have a particularly wide range of consumables, and smoke screens are torpedo magnets, and of course the enemy Kitakazi has done exactly the same thing. The difference being the enemy Kitakazi was spotted, although now that he's shooting at him, obviously Hammerhead is spotted too. Hammerhead saved his torpedoes and his torpedo reload booster for the enemy Brest over there. Unfortunately, the Brest has seen the torpedoes, and every single one of them is going to miss. But yeah, the Kitakazi and the Akazuki and the Harugamo were not initially considered very good, and it was because of the calibre of the guns. One of the friendly Pommons has just taken down the Takahashi, and I think that Brest is about to join him. Yep. First blood and second blood to Hammerhead's team. Well, I say first blood. You can't actually earn achievements and awards like that in ranked battle, but you get what I mean. First 2 kills to Hammerhead's team. Although one of the Pommons did take an awful lot of damage in securing those first 2 kills, and it's probably not likely to survive for much longer. But getting back to why nobody really liked these Japanese gunboat destroyers at first, it's because the amount of penetration of the high explosive shells at the time, and to a large extent for most ships even now, was determined by the calibre of the gun firing the shells, which meant that ships armed with 100mm guns, like the Akazuki, Kitakaze and Hirugamo, firing high explosive shells, could only just manage to penetrate the standard armour of tier 8, 9 and 10 destroyers, and those shells were going to do nothing but shatter and maybe set a fire on cruisers, but well, anything else basically. Unless of course you invested 4 skill points in the IFHE skill, which if you had a 10-point captain meant that you couldn't take the concealment skill, so you at least needed to have a 10-point captain at the very least in order to make these ships worth playing. And ideally you needed a 14-point captain, so you could also take concealment expert. Well, it didn't take Wargaming long to buff these 3 ships, and they gave them quarter caliber penetration as standard on their 100mm guns, the same as the quarter caliber penetration that you get on German battleship secondaries. Actually, German cruiser secondaries too, if they have sufficiently high caliber, so you get the idea. They actually applied that buff to every Japanese 100mm gun, which is one of the reasons why the Tier 8 Premium Key battleship is so surprisingly good spec'd for secondaries, because unlike basically every other Japanese battleship, it has 100mm secondaries. But that buff applied to the Akazuki, the Kitakaze and the Hirugamo turned these things into absolute menaces on the high seas. And they absolutely needed it because, well, they're just not very good ships. Seriously, I mean, they're kind of slow. They're certainly not fast. Their stealth is, well, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good either. 6.1 kilometers here on the Kitakaze, which is fine. Sub 6 kilometer stealth is good, and this isn't sub 6 kilometer stealth. Also, while the torpedoes are good, it doesn't get many of them, and it can't fire them very often. It's only got 1 torpedo launcher, although it does get a torpedo reload booster. They're also kind of big, slow to maneuver, and therefore relatively easy to hit. The only good thing about these ships are the guns. It's kind of a similar situation in the video that I posted on Tuesday, starring the Tier 6 US Navy destroyer, the Farragut, where I said it's an excellent Tier 6 destroyer, and then proceeded to list everything that was bad about it, while saying, and the guns are excellent. And somebody actually said in the comments, and you know, to be honest, it was a fair comment, never change Jingles, lists a whole bunch of stuff about the I'm paraphrasing him here, I can't remember exactly what he said, but the basic sentiment was, you've just listed like a shopping list of things that are bad about this ship, and there's only one thing that's good, and it's the guns, and you reckon that makes it an excellent Tier 6 destroyer? Yes, it does, and it's exactly the same with the Kitakaze. It's a mediocre ship in almost every respect, but the guns are fantastic, and that will do. But you know whose guns aren't fantastic? The Benham. Enemy Neustrashimi's gotten him spotted. I mean, the Benham stealth isn't bad, but the Neustrashimi's is better. And he's got him spotted, and the Benham is never winning a gunfight. I mean, the Neustrashimi's guns aren't amazing, it's no Kitakaze, but they're good enough. So the Benham's not just losing the gunfight to the Neustrashimi. The Neustrashimi's got him spotted within secondary range of the enemy Prinz Ruprecht over there. And he's not fast enough to go unspotted, so the Benham is basically done for, and that was a very, very good move from the Neustrashimi. I mean, it did cost him half of his health, but he has removed a massive threat to his team's 2 surviving battleships. To his team's 1 surviving battleship, as the Carno, I believe that was the Carno choosing to ram and sink the Valparaiso, because the Carno just ate a bunch of, looked like torpedoes, was on low health. It was either, is saving your star even a thing in ranked anymore? Honestly, I don't play ranked, so I wouldn't know. But that was either the Carno thinking, well, we've lost this one, I'm going to ensure that I'm top experience earner on my team so I don't lose a rank, or he realised he was about to die and he just took the Valparaiso down with him. Either way, it's not good news for Hammerhead here, because he's now alone against a Neustrashimi, which is faster than him, and outspots him, even though it doesn't outgun him, and a Prinz Ruprecht. German Tier 9 battlecruiser with excellent secondaries. On the plus side, Hammerhead does still have a 2-cap advantage and a 100-point lead, and with those 2 caps, well, that point lead is only going to get better.
Good show.
But, well, there's a couple of things working against him here. He's never going to be able to hold on to those 2 cap circles. And there's still 10 minutes of this battle remaining. And he's spotted. And that's why he's never going to be able to hold on to these 2 cap circles. Because the Nustra Shimmy comfortably outspots him. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Nustra Shimmy managed to get spotted in return. But he's certainly going to want to disengage from this. Yep, there goes the smoke. And there's the other problem. The Prinz Ruprecht and its secondaries. And there are the Nustra Shimmy's torpedoes, but, well, you know, Hammerhead isn't sitting stationary inside a smokescreen waiting for those to happen. See, because the Nustra Shimmy comfortably outspots him, even though it doesn't outrun him. I mean, they both have similar speeds, but they also both have engine boosts, so you never know at any given time which is the faster of the 2 destroyers. All the Nustra Shimmy has to do is follow him around, keep him spotted, and as long as the Prinz Ruprecht stays within secondary gun battery range, this is going to be an extremely tough battle. Easier said than done though, Jingles. Well, yes, true. I mean, how does the Nustra Shimmy know which way Hammerhead's going to go? Well, you could make some educated guesses. Given that Hammerhead absolutely 100% needs to find and kill that Nustra Shimmy in order to have a chance of surviving, let alone winning this game, the Nustra Shimmy could make the educated guess that Hammerhead's going to be chasing after him with his engine boost active, which is exactly what he's doing. He could also make the educated guess that with a 200-point lead, but slightly less than 9 minutes of the battle to go, Hammerhead will know that there's no way he's going to be able to hold on to both of those cap circles. In fact, it looks very likely that the Prinz Ruprecht is heading down to reclaim Cap Circle Charlie right now. So in order to win safely, Hammerhead's going to have to head to and capture Cap Circle Alpha, which is exactly what he's doing. And yep, sure enough, the Ruprecht is flipping the Cap Circle at Charlie. And once he's done that, he's going to be coming this way. But the enemy team don't have to make any educated guesses, because at least one of them has the radio location skill. And we know that because this located marker is on Hammerhead's screen. That means there is somebody on the enemy team, maybe even both of them, with the radio location skill. And whoever on the enemy team has that skill has a chevron on their screen pointing straight at Hammerhead. They don't know exactly where he is, although the fact that he is now in the Cap Circle at Alpha and flipping it gives them a pretty good indication, even if only one of them has the radio location skill. But the one with that skill has a marker on their screen pointing straight towards the closest enemy ship at all times. And since Hammerhead is the only enemy ship, that means somebody on the enemy team always knows which way to go to find him, and therefore always knows which way he's going. Oh, hang on a second. Battleship players can't take the radio location skill, so it's the Nustra Shimmy who's got it. But, well, the fact that Hammerhead is in here at Alpha flipping it tells the Prinz Ruprecht exactly where he is too. And Hammerhead also now has a pretty good idea of where the Nustra Shimmy is, because somebody's flipping the cap at Bravo. And as quickly as that, the caps have just been reversed. A couple of minutes ago, he had the 2 cap and therefore the point advantage, and now he doesn't. And they both know exactly where he is. Well, they both have a general idea of where he is, in particular the Nustra Shimmy, because he also has the radio location skill. It is now extremely likely that both the Nustra Shimmy and the Prinz Ruprecht are heading this way from their respective cap circles. Which means that when Hammerhead inevitably gets outspotted by the Nustra Shimmy, he is probably going to be inside Prinz Ruprecht's he is inside Prinz Ruprecht's secondary gun battery range. I mean, he was always going to see the Prinz Ruprecht first, but the Nustra Shimmy is always going to see him first and knows exactly which way to go to find him because he's got the radio location skill, and there it is, he's now been spotted inside secondary gun battery range of a German Tier 9 battlecruiser. The Nustra Shimmy again gets counter-spotted because, well, once he saw Hammerhead, in order to not get detected in return, he had to slow and turn around, and, well, I mean, its stealth is very, very good, but nobody's stealth is that good, and it's also not a particularly quick turner, but Hammerhead cannot endure this kind of firepower, certainly not from the Prinz Ruprecht. But he also needs to kill the Nustra Shimmy, and, well, that's not going to happen if he's hiding inside a smokescreen. Also, he's going to get torpedoed. And he has inflicted a lot of damage on the Nustra Shimmy, but he hasn't inflicted enough because he hasn't killed him. And he really does need to kill him, which means remaining spotted and remaining getting shot at Yeah, by the Prince Ruprecht over there. He is in all kinds of trouble. His engine and his steering is damaged. He's still spotted. The Prince Ruprecht is still shooting at him, and, well, he's only just managed to extinguish the fire that was threatening to finish him off. And those secondaries just keep going. I mean, he's managed to go undetected, but the secondaries still had shots in the air, and he is continuing to get hit. And, of course, the Neustrashimi is not dead, and also has access to a specialised repair party. So even though Hammerhead has inflicted near fatal damage on him, the Neustrashimi, because it was high explosive, is going to be capable of healing almost all of it back. And then the Neustrashimi spots him again. He's dumped the torpedoes in the water against the Prince Ruprecht, but it's a German Tier 9 battlecruiser. It will have hydro, and assuming he's not stupid, and based on his performance thus far, he doesn't seem stupid, he's going to be running the hydro because he's chasing down the destroyer. 4.5 minutes of the battle to go. He's managed to go undetected, which gives him some idea of which way the Neustrashimi's gone. But the points lead is vanishing thanks to the cap advantage that the enemy team have managed to grab. 4 minutes of the battle left. He's got the points lead, but it's only 50 points, and with 4 minutes left, he can't win on points without taking another cap circle. And the Neustrashimi is between him and the nearest cap circle. And thanks to the Neustrashimi's specialised repair party, it's basically got a heel that's on par with the British HMS Minotaur Tier 10 light cruiser. I mean, it's just ridiculously good. I mean, the Neustrashimi won't have healed back all of its health, but it's extremely likely that Hammerhead no longer has the health advantage, even if he does have the gun advantage. Hammerhead's in a lot of trouble. He has a 30-point lead, which is getting narrower with every second that passes. He either needs to contest and or take a cap circle or sink something in the next 30 seconds, or he's going to be not just behind on caps and kills, he's going to be behind on points, with 3 minutes of the battle remaining. And then he gets spotted by the Neustrashimi again. And yes, he is within secondary battery range of the Prince Ruprecht. But the Neustrashimi has committed a grievous error of judgment and allowed himself to get counter-spotted. And this is a kitakaze, as the Neustrashimi dies to Hammerhead's 100mm guns, granting him 1,000 points and the victory. And there's the plot twist. As Hammerhead dies to the return fire from the Neustrashimi, which means he actually won that battle despite everybody on his team being dead. Now, I don't know if that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. I mean, I've been covering this game for nearly 10 years now, and I think somewhere in the back of my head, maybe I have actually seen this before. Maybe. But if I have, it's only been once, and I'm not even 100% sure I've seen it that many times. So I think we can safely say, that's not a result you see every day. But you've seen it today, courtesy of Hammerhead, in this Tier 9 ranked battle here on the Trident map. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.